Terence Crawford or Errol Spence, who you putting your money on? You already know Terence Crawford, my nigga. TC, that's my guy. Errol Spence, you going down.
A few moments later.
Over-delivered. Not only did you over-deliver, it ain't even about all the money I won. Nigga, you beat that boy so bad, you ended his career. Ain't no rematch. They don't even want to see it. You beat him so bad, psychologically, get him a therapist. Trust me, he was bleeding out his head. He was bleeding out his head. Damn. That boy, Spence, yo, trainer, you been supposed to stop that. I'm disappointed in your father, too. Damn. I thought his eye was finna come out. Ooh, ooh. Listen, man.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Peace, everybody. Speed Science Boxing Academy. We back from another video. Alright, so y'all seen that Rick Ross, he knew that Terence Crawford was going to win, and he gave his hilarious reaction afterwards. And it's so crazy because he said something that I was thinking about for a few days now. I actually been having this conversation ever since the fight, and that was Errol Spence coach Derek James, or even his father. They should have been stopped that fight. Like, he shouldn't have been taking a beating like that. And what I mean by that is, it was clear after the second round that Terence Crawford was in total control. Now, as the rounds progressed, that's when Errol Spence was supposed to make adjustments. And that's where Derek James and his dad, because his dad was in his corner too, I believe he was like the second assist, they were supposed to be giving him the game plan to make those adjustments. Whether they did or they didn't, he wasn't doing them because the man was clearly getting outmatched in every single turn. Now, I was watching the post-fight interview and I was listening to Derek James, and they asked him why he didn't stop the fight earlier. And he was saying something about, he was watching them and he was looking at the doctors because the doctors right there too. So he was looking at Earl, he was looking at the doctors, and pretty much he was basically saying the doctors were saying he was okay, so he figured that he was cool to go too. But at the same token, he also said that he's seen that his timing was off, his balance was off, that he was just way off his rhythm and everything. So if you know your fighter who's usually on point in everything he do, especially in big fights, and you see that he's not on, and at the same time, while he's off, he's clearly getting dominated, that was your job as a coach and as a father to get him out of harm's way. Now, I can dig it because it's a big fight, and maybe they thought that Earl can possibly catch him with a big shot and get him out of there. But after the fifth and the sixth round, and you seen that it wasn't happening, you should have stopped it. In the seventh round, Terence dropped Earl twice. If I was Earl's coach, I would have waved in the towel. I would have did a Kenny Porter and got my fighter out of there. And it's so funny because it made me allude to back when Terence Crawford fought Sean Porter, because after the fight, I was listening to Andre Ward, and he was like, Kenny Porter didn't stop the fight for what had happened, but he had stopped the fight for what was about to happen, because Kenny Porter know more than anyone that Terence Crawford is a great finisher. And Kenny Porter talked about Terence a lot because Kenny Porter used to be with him in the amateurs and the Olympic systems and everything. So he knew Terence real good, and he knew that once Bud had dropped Sean Porter that second time, he smelled blood, and he was about to get him up out of there. Had Kenny Porter not stopped the fight, Terence would have did the Sean what he had to Earl. But Kenny Porter didn't want the world to see that, so he stopped it. And there's no love lost with it because everyone knew that Sean Porter was a good fighter, and he gave it his all. And the same thing could have been with Errol Spence. Like they should have stopped that fight. Bad part about it is he may not never be the same ever again. Like I've been telling y'all since I've been making videos that we fighters, like people in general, are not made to get hit, not made to get punched on, especially consistently. When you're in the fight, the person is literally trying to take you out, punching all on your body, your brain, and everything, like your head shaking. That's not supposed to happen. And when you constantly do it, it takes a little something out of you each and every time. And when you do it on that magnitude that they were, because when I was fighting, I was doing like small venues, small shows. It was nowhere near the magnitude they were. Can you imagine the training camps, the grind, the groove, all that stuff? And then afterwards, you got to get into a tough fight and get punched on and all that stuff. It's 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 a different animal. And because Derek James is a world-renowned trainer of the year, he should have known better. And forget trying to get your fighter undisputed so you can have two undisputed champions in your gym. Save it for another day because one blemish in your record ain't gonna mean nothing. Because now I see that we're slowly getting out of the Floyd Mayweather era where everyone just have to have an O. Like it shouldn't be that way. And now I'm starting to notice that the boxing game is starting to get out of there too. Like the O is not necessarily that important anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still important. You want to be undefeated. But if you take a setback for a strong comeback, then it's all good. And that's what Derek James should have been thinking of Earl Spence. And he didn't. And dude, we see the results. You know, we really don't know the long lasting effects until, you know, months ahead, years ahead. We got to see how he look, you know, maybe in his next fight, if he fight again, because beating like that, you know, he say he want to rematch. He say he want to move up to 154 and going to continue. But, you know, after the adrenaline rush comes down, and that takes a few days, and your body start to heal, and you start to reflect, and you start to watch the videos and stuff, and see just how bad it was. You may not want to possibly put yourself in that position again. And you made tens of millions of dollars in the sport of boxing. You good. You set for life. And I heard that he did other things with his money, invested well. So y'all good. You don't need to be putting your life through that ever again. But we will have to see if it's worth it or not. And the only time I'm going to tell. But that's what Rick Ross thought. He rooted for Terence. He knew he was going to win. And he think that Derek James and Earl's dad were corny for not stopping the fight. They had to let the Harvey Doc stop the fight, which he shouldn't have. But that's just all I got. Let me know what y'all think. Drop the comment down below. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and hit the bell. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Oh my God, the man's face looked like, oh man. Oh man. No.